Baz Tyler. I'm the drummer for Thorn, and have been for, well, probably the last 6 months. History of me, obviously, as you can tell, it goes back a way. Yeah, I've been playing quite a few years now. I started off when I was probably 14, 15. Just had a natural affinity for drums. And I started off with a band called Urchin many years ago, probably 73, 74, around about there somewhere. Had a few named members in there, which went on for some success. Adrian Smith out of Iron Maiden, Dave Murray at one point out of Iron Maiden, Andy Barnett, was a band called FM, a really good melodic rock band. They've done very well in the States. Yeah, and we trialled that for a few years, paid my dues. Unfortunately, not the success that we hoped for, basically because punk explosion. So we ended up dying a bit of a rock death at that point, and that's when we basically called it a day on that. And Adrian then joined Dave Murray in Iron Maiden, and Andy went off to join. Well, there was a couple of bands in between, but ended up in FM. Went on to some good success. Myself, I had various bands that I was playing around with, but unfortunately they didn't work out too well either. Not successfully. They were good bands, but unfortunately not commercially successful. And I had to really make a decision that it was time to get a proper job, and so I did for quite some time. And it's only in the last, I'd say last 8 to 10 years that I've actually got back into playing properly again, and really enjoying it. And fortunately, I'm at a point in my life where it's not about the money anyway. It never was, but I don't specifically need the money for living. So great, I'll carry on playing. I found Thorn actually through Julian. Julian was actually trying to get another band together, which was a bit more heavy metal than Thorn. And I basically went down for an audition, met Julian, who I got on really well with, and that band didn't actually work out as it turned out. And Julian got in touch with me at a later date to say that he was forming Thorn, and he had some really good material that he thought I'd be suited to, and here we are. Yeah, the first album, it's, we're all very excited for it. Julian has written some great songs, which have now got a much more sort of band feel, whereas before they were obviously, his babies, but now we've made them our babies. So yeah, we're really looking to get those out and hope people enjoy it. Well, hopefully just a reaction, really. It's a very different world today from when I first started playing, in terms of, how you make yourself known to the public. Previously, it was very much about, road work, doing the live road work, touring, clubs, pubs, universities, bigger venues, hopefully, etc. Now it's a very, social media, etc., which is where I defer to the younger members of the band. Oh, I'd rather not. I don't like any of them.
Craig said the same thing.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Actually, Craig is the one I dislike the most. But don't tell him, will you? Cool. Yeah.
We'll leave that one there.
Yeah. No, they're all good guys. They're all good guys. Even Craigie.
Yeah.
Quite a few. Specifically playing. We used to play the air bases, not just the American air bases, but the British air bases as well. But the American air bases were always very, very good. They were a different world for us. You actually enter America. They've actually got proper American policemen, American police cars, and you have to change your money up to buy anything. Yeah, it was just a very surreal almost, and enjoying the delights of you know, the free bar, etc. After the gig, obviously, and trying to, you know, go down a cocktail list and still stand up afterwards. And I do remember one occasion where we had an old tour bus with the doors that, you know, worked on a vacuum and opened up, and I had to, you know, relieve myself. But they decided it would be fine if they carried on moving while I was doing that. And unfortunately, I fell out the bus. But fortunately, it was going slow. But yeah, I was lucky because I was completely inebriated, so I didn't feel a thing. Although I did have quite a nasty bruise on my and cut on my knee and a big hole, which is quite fashionable now apparently. So yeah, that was a story. Potential, well, hopefully, the main thing is that they enjoy what we do and come out and see us.
I'm Harry, I play bass in Thorn. I first got a guitar when I was about 13. If it was a birthday present or whatever. Just an electric guitar, like a pretty cheap one. But sort of started playing it a bit and then sort of just didn't really get on with it, threw it aside. But I think a lot of people sort of have that experience with guitar. You either sort of pursue it or you sort of give up quite early. But then I sort of revisited it. I was about 18 when I was sort of into music more. I sort of got it back and I, actually tried to play it, playing a few chords and stuff. And I took it to uni with me as well, so I was playing a lot at uni, just for fun, nothing really. Didn't think about joining a band really. Didn't think I could sort of be good enough, as it were. Then I always see Dan play, and it's either I really want to be up there with him playing, or it's like, what's the point? He's so good. It's like, I'm never going to be that good. So yeah, just played guitar for a bit, and then sort of before Thorn came along, me, Craig and Dan were going to do something else, like a project aside. So sort of they said, you know, you can join and play bass. So I got a bass, started practicing, and then sort of Thorn came along, and well, Dan joined Thorn with Craig. And then later on down the road, the bass player left. So there was an opening for me, which was really lucky actually. So yeah, that was good. And then went to the first practice, and yeah, from there it's just been, really good, really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say he's pushed me, he's definitely helped me a lot. Like before our first practice and meeting Jules and Baz, we would play a lot together, just us two, sort of getting to know the songs, and he'd like show me a few things, sort of help me with the bass lines. But he never pushed me, he's always, you know, been, this is, if you want to do it, you know, you do it, but he's always said, like, you know, if you're not sure about stuff, I'll be there to help you, and he's always been helpful in that way. Obviously he's so good at guitar and he knows music really well, so it's lucky to have him there really. It has, for us, it has slowed us down a little bit, especially that second lockdown. That really, you know, because we were really getting somewhere, and we were meant to go into the studio last year, I think. But obviously the second lockdown happened, and just it put us back another like good 6 to 8 months sort of behind. So it's sort of. It slowed us down, but it ain't stopped us. Here we are now in the studio, and from here on out, we're going to be carrying on as it lifts completely as well. Get out there and start playing as soon as we can. The song is really good, actually. The quality of songs in this album really high. I think a good variety as well, but a lot of hard rock, like just proper tunes, which is really exciting. What can I say? No, it's great. I think for me, being the youngest, it's good to see them all sort of had different history with music, and I'm learning every day I spend with them really, about how good that they are as musicians and trying to learn as much as I can. But yeah, Baz has been around for ages drumming, so he's got so much experience. I don't know if that's rude or not.
He's been around.
But he has been forever. But he's got a lot of experience, you know, he's been there and done it. Obviously Dan and Craig in Freedom Cage, obviously I've been to loads of their gigs as well. It's good, really exciting. Learning a lot. This one I'll play them live because I think there's a lot of songs in there that are probably, I haven't really quite heard anything quite like it before. That's probably quite a typical thing to say, but I think it's really exciting that we're going to be able to get out there and play it to people and hopefully get a decent following behind us. I think they're really strong songs. I think we've all worked together well, especially through lockdown as well. We haven't stopped the lockdown, we've still been practicing and writing bits and bobs for the songs, so we keep going, and they're really well developed, but they've got that sort of simple hook and they stay in your mind forever. So really looking forward to that. Why should I buy the album? Well, I don't think there's many good rock bands about at the moment. I mean, obviously pop and rap and stuff is really popular at the moment, which is just how the world is going really. But we're a proper band releasing proper music, and it's, you should buy it because it's fucking awesome.
Okay, my name is Julian Law and I am the guitarist in Thorn. So music's always been a massive part of my life. I know people say that, but lots of people say that as a kind of, a throwaway comment, but it was literally the thing that lifted me up as a kid. I was always into things that were artistic. So pictures, reading was where I kind of started just to express myself. And then about 7 years old, I started to play guitar, classical guitar, and I had lessons on classical Spanish, standard stuff, and went through the grades. Got up to about grade 5, and it was classical music which first turned me on to how a piece of music will move you. Now, I'm not saying I'm a massive classical fan, because that phase passed pretty early on, but the pitch and the swell and the mood of music and how different instruments are put together to create a particular effect was the first thing that struck me about how music was very, very different to every other artistic media that you work in. And it intrigued me greatly. And then something terrible happened to me. About age 15, I picked up an electric guitar as opposed to a Spanish classical guitar. And I was like, there aren't the words to describe it. Because I think when artists are trying to express themselves, inevitably you go through lots of different phases to find something that suits you. And I picked up it was a Les Paul copy, it was only a cheap thing. It was black, and I remember it to this day, and it just, and then you put it on and it's just got this weight to it, and suddenly you feel like you're wearing a piece of armour. You feel like you're wearing something that is going to facilitate what you are feeling. That's the only way I can describe it. So I was playing this thing, and of course I was playing like all classical pieces on it like this, and I put it through this amplifier. And then the first sort of electric sound I heard was a Spanish classical piece called La Romanza, played like heavily distorted on black Les Paul. And I was like, that's really weird. And of course, then you start to adapt to the style, you adapt to the instrument, and it was something which I could never move on from, because I just thought, I'm a strings instrument player. I would try all the strings instrument, but I got to the electric guitar and I just stopped, because when you've got something that you are not going to want to move on from, And so as an artist, I found the thing that was going to allow me to express inside. Now, it happens to have been a guitar. It happens to be an electric guitar. I thought for a while it would have been something else. It might have been paintbrushes, it might have been spray cans, it might have been just the written word or something. But for me, that instrument, that electric guitar specifically, struck something inside me and opened up a gateway. And that's why at the beginning I said, people say, music's always been a big part of my life, is a bit of a throwaway comment you hear from everyone. But the thing for me is that music facilitated my life. The future of Thorn, that is a tough one, because ultimately I want us to fly the flag for that genre of music. I want us to fly the flag of unashamed, unabridged freedom to enjoy that style, enjoy that era, enjoy that feel, and just go out and dance to it. And I think the other thing I'd like to say is that we have become an eclectic mix of some of the biggest influences in rock and metal, who themselves have come from similar roots. So when I play, as I said, I'm always going to be compared to Def Leppard. And I think Phil Collen is, in my opinion, is the most influential and the most talented guy out there, which is going to be the most controversial thing to have ever said on a video ever. But that's my style. Dan, when you listen to the record that we've just been making, he sometimes will come across like Slash. He sometimes comes across like Joe Perry. And I think the future of Thorn really is exactly what I just said. It's going to be flying the flag for that genre and for the best of that genre, and accessibility for everyone, either back into that genre if they missed it out from their childhood and want it back again, or a greater celebration of people that are already enjoying it. Basically, I want Thorn to make those who love rock music love it even more, or love it for longer. Why should anyone buy the album? I don't know. That's a tough one. I think the answer is listen to it. Find a channel somewhere where it's going to be available. Listen to it. and I defy you not to be moved by it rhythmically. You know, it's going to move you at the basest level. And I think if it does that to you, then you need to buy it because you need that in your life.
Well, that's it, come on.
Condemnation I wait. With desecration you placate to liberate. Let's go back to that place you wait between love and hate. My lament I will forday. Your lies kiss me amazed. Let's lose our minds, but let our bodies stay. Hey!
Mate,
Mate, I have no words. I am the most basic word person in the world.
basic word person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could just leave it here. We just put that in the video.
What do you think, Dan? Yeah. Well, my name's Dan. I'm a guitarist in Thorn.
Works.
Yeah. COVID, man. It's a nightmare. I mean, I actually had it. I caught it in December. But, yeah, so when I was laid up doing that, I was learning all the parts and stuff. So even though it might have held us up a bit, we did all do our homework, you know? And I was always talking to Julesy and stuff, just trying to get these guitar bits sorted out. It sends you a bit crazy trying to do it over the phone or text message, but yeah, it all worked out. So, no, I think it was all right.
There's no
We made the best what we had, yeah? So, yeah,
It's
cool.
all come out good anyway, so I mean,
Yeah, done all right, didn't it?
yeah, don't get together for making the next album.
I said for one of the solos, I said, mate, no, I said, this is going to take me about 20 takes because I just can't get it right. Bang, one take, done. So, ain't right then, is it? I think Thorn's it's just like a group of brothers, we all get each other. So, and, well, one of them literally is my brother. So, it's going to help, innit? But, yeah, it just had this natural force just helping us along. It was so easy, it's just natural. We went to, first time we played in, I can't remember what it was now. No. On the way to that, when we've had our first practice, I got hit by a lorry. Not me personally, my car. It just weren't working out. But as soon as we got there and played, man, it was just, yeah, great. So from then, we kind of knew that, yeah, great connection.
It's good, man.
What do you want to know?
Where do you get your inspiration from?
Where do I get my inspiration from? I have loads of inspiration. I've got inspiration from like Slash and Joe Perry and through my solos and stuff. And I think, it's funny, inspiration is a hard thing to pick because it just comes from anywhere. So I mean, walking down the road, I can get my inspiration from some twat walking on the other side of the road. I think, I don't know, I can't explain it really.
That's what sounds like this.
Yeah. I think the inspiration for me is just a good feeling that I get when I play. I think that's what I get. It just comes through me, man.
Great.
They're up there. I know everyone's an inspiration to me, mate. You know.
Thanks.
Yeah. Even you, mate. Even you. Especially you. my creative process. It's very hard to explain for me because it's all in my head. I just hear it, I can see it. Where I've done art, when I do photography or whatever, I just see it in my head. And I just try and produce it. Man, that's hard, isn't it? But it's the way it is. It's one, you can't write it down. You know. I don't know. I had one word in this. I sung in this song, in this recording, which was "Hey." And I've done a really good job at it. So, well, where do I get my inspiration from? My, I'll say, solos or whatever.
Yeah.
Same as before. You know, it just comes to me. It just happens. I'll just watch artists all the time. I'll go down to the local like pub gigs or jam nights, and I'm watching everyone. So I'll get my inspiration from, you know, the bloke next door or the big guys on the telly. Crazy. Oh man. Fucking hell. Well, Craig, I mean, I've been playing music with Craig before I had hairs on my chest. You know, it was, I was what, 13? We was playing, we first recorded with Jim when we was, I think, 16, 17. I don't know, well, early. So I've known Jim for a long time as well. Harry, he's my brother. So I've known him since he was born. Barry, I don't really know much about Barry apart from he's fucking cool. You know what I mean? You know he's been there and done it. And Julian, his teacher. Oh mate. Who's obsessed with guitar. And we're constantly talking about guitars. And the amount of guitars, he said, oh, what do you think of this one? What do you think of this one? I'm like, mate, you said you weren't going to get any more guitars. And he's got another one. And then he sells all them and gets another one. I thought, fucking hell, mate. Yeah, I bought a new one last week actually. Nice. PRS, it's nice. Went to Anderton's and tested it all out, it's great. A few beers at Guildford, it was cool. The future of Thorn, unwritten, man. We're taking over the world, guys, aren't we? Man, thank you for watching this video. If you do watch it. By the way, I'm pretty fucking pissed still from yesterday, so you're gonna get a lot out of me. Yeah. Thanks for your time.
Sweet, man.
Nice one.
On the day I died, fire burned through the night. Now with vengeance on my side, I've come back to life. They call me the prodigal son. In a world come undone, am I the chosen one? And from grace I fell, risen to raise hell.
Where should I look?
Just
Straight on, yeah?
straight in there, yeah.
Right, basically my name is Craig Wenham. I am the lead singer of Thorn, songwriter, along with Julian. The beginning of Thorn happened basically where Julian got in contact with me via social media, and his plan was to make a new band. I think the whole DNA of Thorn is basically, it's the band that we always wanted to be in, so that's what we're aiming towards. I think hopefully we're accomplishing that. We're pretty happy with how things have turned out. Julian got in contact with me. He already had Barry on board on drums, Barry Tyler. Through myself, I got Dan and Harry both on board, and then this was summer 2020. We got practicing. We met up for a few practices. The whole idea was to make an album, start with an album, the kind of the Led Zeppelin mentality, to get out there, put the album out first, and then just start digging deep, getting out there, start playing, get a following, and here we are in the studio now, making our first album. This band has its own identity, it's got almost its own life force. Thorn is, I think most of the guys, if not all of them, would agree with me. It sounds so cliche to say this, but there is something about this band and its energy. It was like it came together effortlessly, and it's like something is guiding it. It's just, there's an energy around this band that it's just bigger than the band almost. It's like there's something guiding us. We're like a modern band, but we have that great rock 80s almost feel about it that people can really get into. First album, I think the running title of it is called Surface. There's songs that I've written in the past that we're going to be using. The majority is songs that Julian has given me, that he's written musically, and I've written lyrics and melody too. The album is the album that ourselves in Thorn have always wanted to hear. So that's our aspiration, that's our goal, and hopefully we're going to be achieving that.
Amazing.
Very, hi Barry. It's basically, yeah, I mean, my creative process, I'm used to usually writing lyrics and music all together as a fully kind of, whole product. But I think the beauty of it with Julian giving me the music, I've had a lot more time and a lot more focus spent on lyrics and melody, and I think that shows. Usually I get my music in this weird fucking alpha space where you're just sitting there half asleep, half awake, and that's when it comes to me. And if I can be bothered to get out of bed and write it down, then I'll get it. If I don't, the next morning when I wake up, it'll be gone forever, it'll be lost. So it's a fucked up, really weird kind of way of writing, but the best songs, as anyone will tell you who writes music, they're almost like a gift. You're just a conduit for it, basically. It channels through you. It sounds mystical. They're all right. No, they're fucking legends, yeah. Dan, I've known coming 23, 24 years. Harry, the same pretty much, since he was very, very young. Julian and Barry, I've only known for the last year and a half. But yeah, we got on with that's the very fundamental thing about this band. It's intrinsic for a band to get on, to quote Nikki Sixx. A band's solidarity, a band's strength comes from the solidarity of its members, and that works with Thorn. They're all very gifted. As you know, Barry's a well-established musician. I think he's a band called Urchin, quite a well-established band. Julian's a very, very seasoned musician, great musician. Same with Dan. And Harry's only been playing bass, not that long, but he's a fantastic bass player, and he just fits the mould perfectly. Yeah. So we all just bounce off one another in a non-sexual way. The band, Thorn Sound is a kind of amalgamation of modern rock with 80s rock. So if I was to say what we collectively sound like together, it's probably a mix between Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue with Def Leppard. That's what I can kind of... I think that going into this album, the whole group mentality was that we want to impress ourselves just as much as anyone else. Not in a selfish way, we just wanted to really challenge ourselves. And I think going into it, we just wanted to really break some boundaries down. The whole COVID thing has really broken down so many walls in the way of artistry, because people want to get out there again and just fucking enjoy themselves and have it. And I think this band is going to be hopefully acting as a bit of a release for people. I mean, the whole point of rock and roll is to just get out there, enjoy yourself, have fun, dig some really cool rock and roll, and that's it. That's the whole point of it. It's a release. I think one thing I will say is that basically rock is the underdog again. It's the underdog again. It's I think that's killer in itself, and all we're doing is just bringing it back to the surface. I think that's a integral thing of Thorn.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
I won't be taken in. No serenity. This is purification. Unholy matrimony. The devil rides by your side. I saw you waiting with the hellhounds, standing at the crossroads, sitting out your soul. Unholy matrimony. The devil rides by your side. I saw you waiting with the hellhounds, standing at the crossroads, sitting out your soul.
Yeah, pretty good.